I'm drinking some smart water because I hear that it makes you smarter. My teachers told me to drink it, so. And I can feel the brain cells working already. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this week's video I thought I would sit down and chat a bit about sixth form, my experiences with year 12, my advice for you guys who are coming up from year 11 to year 12, and I asked you guys on Instagram to send me some things to talk about or some questions you want me to answer, and I'm going to talk about that today. I literally have no clue what this video is going to be like and what I'm going to talk about, so if this ends up being really rambly, then I apologise, but let's just get straight into it because I know you guys want to know more. So okay, so what I thought I would talk about is the subjects that I chose, my experience with them for first year, my advice for you guys if you're taking those subjects, and just my advice general if you're doing sixth form. If you're doing college, so if you're doing like a BTEC course or like an equivalent course, then you can still apply this. This is mainly for like A-levels, although I do a BTEC, so it kind of applies, but majority of it you can apply to whatever you're doing. So for A-levels I chose psychology, sociology and performing arts, which are all very different, kind of a lot of a very mixed. I think a lot of people might want to know like what it was like moving from my school that I was at from year 7 to year 11 to moving to a complete different sixth form, which was also in a complete different area, which kind of didn't really help, but it was kind of like a new fresh start. Obviously in year 11 I had the choice of staying at my school that I was at, being with all my friends and just staying there. It was closer to home, and it was more easy because I had a group of friends there, or I could go somewhere that was a bit further away, which requires me to stay at my dad's because it's closer. I didn't really know a lot of people. It was kind of difficult because part of me really wanted to stay with my friends, and like I'm seeing them this week, which is really exciting, and I haven't seen them for so long, and it's hard when you're somewhere else. So I'm going to talk about like the social aspect of like going from year 11 to sixth form, and then I'm going to talk about like the academic study aspect. So in terms of the social aspect, for me it was obviously quite difficult because I went from a school that was quite small. There was about, I don't know, I'd say maybe nearly 200 people in my year group, maybe, no, I literally have no clue what my year group size was, to going to like a sixth form which had a few thousand people in it, and it was a complete just sixth form, so it was 2 years, and it was like a massive sixth form, and it was quite difficult going from there having like known the whole year group to going somewhere where I didn't really know majority of the year group. Like I didn't even know a quarter of the year group, and it was in a different area, so I didn't have a lot of my friends that were going, but I knew a few people, but I wasn't like in the same classes as them, and I think it was difficult for me because making friends and stuff, I've always struggled with like meeting new people and socialising, and because I get very anxious socially, and I'm kind of awkward to talk to. I could either be of two extremes, really chatty or really awkward, so it's kind of like a hard balance. But I went in and I didn't really know many people. I knew a few people, but I didn't know many people in my classes, and we did loads of cringy icebreakers and stuff, like how many dogs do you have, how many siblings do you have, and like those kind of things. But it was quite difficult in terms of the social aspect. Obviously I was out of the loop a lot with like my old friends because I was never really down this end. I was more up where my college is. It's not really like, it's quite far, not far, but I was always kind of near, but yeah, I was always kind of near college most of the week, and I didn't really have much time to see my friends, so it was kind of hard because when you're in the gap between like leaving and going somewhere new where you have to meet new people, it's kind of hard to like, I don't really know how to explain it. Like I went through a phase where I felt really lonely, and I remember chatting to one of my friends who luckily is in one of my classes, and I remember like chatting to her. We knew each other for a while, and I remember chatting to her and just saying that I was feeling very lonely and I was really struggling because it kind of felt like everybody had come with their friends, everyone had like been well established, and I kind of felt like I was still floating a bit. I don't know if this is making sense, but I remember just like struggling to make friends. So one thing I would just say to you guys for like a bit of advice in terms of the social front is, obviously if you're staying at the same sixth form where you're at with your friends, and if you're staying on at the same school, it's going to be a bit more easier because you're going to be able to stay with your friendship group. You might be in the same classes, you'll still be around each other, you'll be able to see each other a lot, you'll be able to meet at lunchtime and hang out after school. However, for my advice, if you guys are going to a larger sixth form, or even if you're just moving schools and going to a different sixth form and you don't know anybody there, I would just say is to just be yourself, be chatty, be bubbly, be nice to everybody as well. I just say you need to like just try and make friends, and it is easier said than done, but it's really, really helpful. Also, the thing is, if you're in classes, when you're in classes in tutor or your extracurriculars or like, what do you call them? Unions and stuff, it's easier to make friends with people because you have common interests. I made a lot of friends with people in my tutor. I got on really well with like basically majority of my tutor. I spoke to everybody, and the same for like for like all my subjects, psychology, sociology, I got on really well with everyone. It wasn't necessarily based on mutual interests, but I had some really close friends that I made, and it was fun because lessons are always fun if you're having fun with your friends, if that makes sense. And for performing arts, because we all had a mutual interest of like theatre, performing, the stage, musicals, like we all got on so well, and I found majority of my friends came from that class purely because it's easier to make friends with people based on like your common interests and stuff. Same thing I would say for joining any unions or extracurriculars. I went along to CU a couple times, which is the Christian Union. A lot of sixth forms and colleges have got so many unions if you guys want to take part. We had like a LGBTQ association. What else did we have? There was so many different like groups. Obviously you can join clubs like sports clubs, and I mean there was a bunch of stuff. I didn't really do much for first year because I wanted to get my bearings before I kind of touched into different things, but I would recommend, like I genuinely would recommend getting stuck in around and find stuff that you can do. So now onto the more academic front of things. So one of my lovely friends asked me, I'm just going to pull up my Instagram story. One of my lovely friends asked me to talk about how I handled the jump from GCSE to A-level, which I thought I would kind of incorporate into like the studying difference. So how I would describe it for somebody who's currently doing their GCSEs, just done them heading into sixth form, or like about to do their GCSEs and kind of deciding whether they want to go the sixth form route and do A-levels, or a college route and do a more vocational course. You have your GCSEs, you have a bunch of subjects. So you've got your like science, maths, English, and then you've got all the subjects on top that you chose to do. You have a bunch of subjects and you're having to revise all of them, cover all the different content, and it seems like a lot, and you get to the stage in year 11 and you're like, oh, I can't wait to do my A-levels, I'll only have 3 subjects, I'll have less to focus on, I'll have more fun time. Honey, it's not simple at all. And I remember like saying to my friends who were doing A-levels like, oh, I can't wait to do my A-levels, like it's gonna be so much more easier, and they were looking at me and they were like, Abby, you're crazy, like it's worse, it gets harder. And I say it does get harder, but it's not impossible. Obviously it depends on the subjects you take. Subjects vary, like I said, art and like more coursework based subjects, maybe like graphics or something, they have a lot more time where they require you to like sit and do work outside, like they require you to spend a certain amount of time outside classes, just doing your sketchbook and stuff and doing projects. With performing arts coursework as well, we had a bunch of coursework, and I had some friends I love my friends so much, like it was hilarious when it came to coursework deadlines. I've always been quite good with my coursework deadlines because I'm one of those people that I'm not like a last minute person. I am not lastminute.com. I am not the type of person that will be like, I'll cram it all in the morning it's due. I will get it done like a good few days in advance so I can proofread like 100 times and hand it in like right on time. But I had a couple of friends who weren't like that. I love you guys so much. A couple of my friends would be like quite behind on coursework, and obviously it stresses you out. So if you are doing coursework subjects, I would just say get on the grind, do your coursework, keep up to date. If you get set deadlines, do them, because it will work in your favour. Because I can tell you, I can promise you, the day the coursework deadline comes along, that week you'll have so many other deadlines and you're like, I have so much to do, no time to do it. So just get it done. And that's what I'd say if you had and that's why I'd say if you're taking coursework subjects, or like subjects that are more vocational and require a lot of extra stuff outside of class. I'm really uncomfortable. Also, another big one with performing arts was rehearsals. We had a lot of extra rehearsals, lunchtime rehearsals, after school rehearsals, just turning up. And I just say, just be part of a team. If you're on a subject like that, even like drama, be a team player, turn up to rehearsals, play your part, have fun. That's all you can do, really. That's kind of like my advice for like vocational. I mean, it wasn't a jump between like GCSE, because I did GCSE performing arts. It was like BTEC performing arts, but like GCSE level, which I had a lot of the coursework stuff I was able to do. I mean, it was like a step up in coursework, like 40-page long PowerPoints and Word documents and stuff. But your teachers are always really helpful, and they help you and they tell you what you need to do and give you feedback. Well, that's what mine were like. So on terms of like the more academic subjects is probably what you're wanting to know the most about. The jump from A-level to GCSE, the jump from GCSE to A-level was quite drastic for me. I was like, it's kind of like you don't know what you're getting into until you get yourself into it, and then you're like, I'm stuck, like I don't know what I'm going to do. That was kind of like the position that I was in. I mean, I went through a lot of phases where I was like doubting myself, and I didn't have much confidence in myself with like my subjects, with my ability, my work. Like Jesus took the wheel, like he took the wheel for me. I was like not doing well, but I mean, I've done well at the end of first year. So how I can explain it is like, so say GCSE, right? So say biology or something. GCSE biology. I don't take A level, so I can't compare it. But GCSE biology, you've got like a few. I mean, you got quite a few topics that you have to cover. Simple stuff, simple terminology, things you can understand. It comes up in an exam. It's like a 1 marker, 2 marker, 5 marker at the max. Maybe some tick boxes here and there, and it's like, okay, like it feels a lot of information. I remember history was the subject that was a killer for me at GCSE, because there was so much content, and obviously English was terrible. Like English, you know, you have like your 15 poems, was it 15 poems? And then you had like 3 texts and stuff, and remembering all those quotes and stuff, like it was a killer, but it prepares you for A-level. I mean, I think for A-level English you get the text. I didn't take English, so I can't speak on English, but I can speak English, but I didn't take the subject. But I know that it was a lot of essays, a lot of writing for my friends. I know some people that did biology, and biology was a lot of content. I mean, it's still going on now. You literally have to know everything. You have like multiple textbooks. So biology is like a hard A-level. Obviously I can speak for the ones I took. So I took psychology and sociology. So nothing prepared me for psychology really. In terms of sociology, I mean, history prepared me well for sociology. Because of taking history, I was very good at writing essays, writing things in time conditions, quickly writing. Like, I can bam an essay in like 20 minutes and write like 4 pages. Like, I'm a very quick writer in exams. It may not make sense and you may not be able to read my writing, but I can write it, honey. I can write an essay. Same for psychology, it kind of helped, but there aren't really, I think the longest essay in psychology was like 20 marker. I can't even remember. The way I put psychology in terms of content is sociology. I mean, sociology is the same, so it's basically the same level of content. For sociology, I think I've collected around, I want to say nearly 15, between 10 and 15 booklets from first year. And they're booklets like that thick. So for example, say like, I think we had like 5 identities we covered, and each of the identities had a booklet, and you'll have to know all the booklet for it to come up in a question, or like a 6 marker, or like a 15 marker, or like a 40 marker. And then you have to know the theory, so you have to know all about the theory groups, like the like feminist Webernarians. There are so many different things you had to cover, and you had to really know them in depth because you have to be able to remember enough content to apply it into an essay, and then the criticisms and contrasting viewpoints. Like, there was a lot of information. And then with psychology, to give you an example of how much content is required in psychology, obviously for both psychology and sociology, I'm on OCR. I think I am. OCR? Yeah, I'm on OCR. So we have 10 contemporary and 10 classical case studies, which you have to know in detail, from like the aims, the sample size, the procedure, ethnocentrism, reliability, validity, evaluation, like all of that stuff you have to know for each of the studies, and then only a few of them may come up in your exam, and that's for like half of one of the 3 exams, if that kind of gives you an idea of like what the subject's like. And then you've got like research methods and stuff, which research methods is fine until you get to like the statistics aspect and you're like, I literally don't understand any of this math. That kind of gives you an idea of the content that specifically that I have to cover. So in advice for you guys, I would say for jumping, it's going to be quite different in the level of content and information. Also, you go through stuff so quickly. Like in psychology, we spent a few lessons on a case study, and then it was like, bam, next case study, you need to revise it, you need to test yourself, you need to do all of that stuff outside of lessons. We're done with that now, we're moving on. And it's very much the same in like a lot of subjects, and a lot of it it's so important. Like when the teachers say you need to start consolidation early, like you need to start consolidation early, like they are not playing. Like you have to knuckle down, get your textbook. I mean, I didn't buy a single textbook because I revised from the booklets. So what I did was I've showed it in a few study with me's, but I would get the booklets, I would make my own revision notes, so posters, mind maps, revision cards, documents, PowerPoints. Like I would continue to make my revision notes and I'd update it as we go along, which is one thing that I found with GCSEs is it's no use making your revision notes the day before your exam. Like you need to make them in advance, which is what I did for my GCSEs. So I actually made my revision notes for like the first ever mocks, and I used those notes for like all of my exams leading up to like my actual exams, which meant I was spending less time writing my revision notes and more time consolidating and making sure they were in my brain. So yeah, I would just say get on your revision, get on your consolidation, and use your free periods wisely. Grab a drink with your friends, go to McDonald's. We have a Starbucks in college, so I would go get a Starbucks literally every single day. See, at the beginning of sixth form, you want to be making sure you're socialising, and you want to have a good balance between socialising and study, and making sure you do have a social life at sixth form, because the first year is the year where you get to make friends, forge relationships with people, meet new people, get to know people a bit better. It helps you to kind of get to know yourself a bit better as well. But it is the year where you can afford to have a bit less time on the revision and less time on the work and a bit more time on, you know, meeting new people, socialising, all that stuff. So I would definitely say make sure you have a balance between the two. Like, make sure that you are spending time with your friends. You're not in your free periods every day in the library or like on the computers or like spending all your evenings doing work. Like, you need a balance. You need to have some fun, and you need to have like some chill time and downtime and time to just hang out, you know. Although like studying and obviously getting your work done is important, it's kind of more important for the second year. I'm not advising you not revise and try hard first year. Like, what I'd say is I always try to do a couple hours every evening where I would sit down and do consolidation, revise, do homework or whatever, practice questions. Also, the workload they set you in sixth form is a lot different to the workload that they set you in GCSE. I'm just going to say that. GCSE for homework, I mean, just in general, like secondary school for homework, you would get given maybe like a sheet to fill in or like an essay to write. But when you get to A level, they set you a bunch of work. Like, they're not like, oh, I've set you a piece of homework for the week. You don't get any more. Like, every lesson they'll give you something to do. Like, I got set essays in psychology and sociology the same week, and it's due. The way that my sixth form works is It's not as strict as like secondary school, which is good because it helps you if you're going to uni. Then at uni you're going to have no one on your case to make sure you're doing work or even turning up to your lectures. Like, that's up to you. So in my sixth form, the teachers, if you handed your homework in, like if you handed your homework in on time, great. If you hadn't done your homework and they were like, where's your homework? And you'd be like, oh, I left it at home, like my teachers would get annoyed because they're like, you're screwing yourself over here, like you just need it to get it done, like it doesn't take long. And if you don't get it done, like if you have gaps in your booklets, like they're not on you about it, like it's your fault, do you know what I mean? Like, to make sure you're doing it. Like, at the end of the day, you're not going to get a detention for not doing an essay, because they don't do that. At least in my sixth form, we do not do detentions, we don't do any of that kind of, what do you call it? Punishment. Yeah, we don't have detentions. They don't punish you in that way. They just say, no, it's your fault. It's if you're gonna get behind in your studies, if you're gonna not know what you're doing in the exam, that's your fault and it's down to you, which is what I'd say is the difference in terms of like punishment wise. This is really going off in a tangent, I don't know how that related. Which leads me to the question which my friend Karis asked. She asked, do you personally think that sixth form is better than year 11 and under? So I would say, in an aspect, yes and no. Year 11 and under is so much more chilled, so much more fun. You literally don't have to care. Like, all your GCSEs do is get you to the next level. Whereas when you get to A-levels, it's like, okay, you want to go to Oxford or Cambridge, you got to work, you got to get your A's, your A stars. You want to go to uni, you got to get the grades to get into uni. You got to sort out your unis. Like, it's the pressure that, like, I feel is, like, great at the moment. Like, you know, my sixth form's very good at encouraging you to decide what you want to do. So whether you want to go to uni, take a gap year, go to apprenticeship, go to work straight away, like they're very, very, very supportive in that aspect, and they help you decide what's best for you. But I would say that year 11 and under is much more fun and much more laid back. It kind of is like the socialising year. Year 12 is a okay year, but I'm going into second year and I'm excited, but I'm nervous because I know it's going to be a challenge. I know it's going to be difficult, but I would just say if you're going into sixth form, then just be aware that you're going to have to do your work, you're going to have to knuckle down, and if you don't do it now, it's going to bite you in the bum later on. In terms of like organisation and procrastination, first year you can procrastinate a bit, but you need to be organised on top of your game of like consolidation, which I kind of touched on already. Also, the dynamic in your relationship between yourself and your teachers is much more different. It's much more like a friendship. That sounds really weird, but on my sixth form you call your teachers by their first name. You don't call them Miss or Sir or like Miss da da da. Like you call them by their first name. Like if I was your teacher, you call me Abby. Like that's kind of how it works, which was really, really fun in a way because it was more like a friendship and you get your inside jokes. I mean, I think that's basically what I would say. So if I could tell my year 11 self going into sixth form would be have fun, enjoy yourself, meet lots of new people and make friends, be yourself, because sixth form is the place where you can be yourself because literally nobody cares who you are and what you like. It's not a thing. Popularity isn't a thing where I'm at. It's a lot different from high school where you'd have your popular people and the people that thought they were cool and the nasty people, people that thought they were cool and they weren't always nice to people, and then, you know, the people that they would laugh at and they would take the mick out of and essentially bully, isn't a thing in sixth form at all, which is really, really good, and I really, really enjoy that because I've come out of my shell a lot and I've met people that appreciate me for me, and I think that's something that everybody needs a bit in their life. So I hope this video has kind of been a bit helpful. I know it was kind of all over the place. If I missed anything, I might do like a part 2 video or something, I don't know. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video and you found it helpful. Give it a big thumbs up if you did. Also, if there are any specific back to school videos you want me to film in September or like end of August, September time, then let me know because that is what I am planning on filming in September time. I've got some like back to school ideas but I would love some more video ideas, and also video ideas for when I'm in year 13 as well. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great summer and that you can chill a bit before you enter sixth form or enter your GCSEs or enter your A-levels like me. Also, follow me on all my social media, links will be down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys! That was cringe.